Happy Friday, everybody. So today I want to show off the record collection of one of my favorite punk bands, the Descendents. So stick around and check out what I have on vinyl. Chris Brophy, musically obsessed. Chris Brophy, musically obsessed with vinyl CDs and cassettes. Chris Brophy, musically obsessed. Oh yeah! So as I said in the intro, I'm going to show you the record collection of one of my favorite punk bands, the Descendents. So let me give you a little history first. They were formed way back in 1977 by Frank Navetta and David Nolte. Now, what's interesting about David Nolte is he would go on to be in the band The Last. And I've done a video on them. Maybe I'll link it below. Check them out. When these two guys got together, they were first known as The Itch. And then Frank came up with the name The Descendents. Now, after David Nolte left for The Last, you then had Tony Lombardo on bass, Bill Stevenson on drums, and Navetta on guitar. And they would release their debut single, which was Ride the Wild, back with It's a Hectic World. And what's interesting about these two songs is that they sort of had like a surf punk new wave vibe, which would be kind of a different sound to what they would later be known as. So it was sort of this beginning, bubbling of ideas for the Descendents. So I guess that Navetta and Lombardo got kind of tired of singing. So they brought in this guy named Milo Aukerman. And Milo would then go on to not only be the mascot of the Descendents, but he would also go on to be their vocalist that would sing on pretty much everything from here on out. So they recorded their debut EP in 1982 for SST Records. It was the Fat EP. How awesome is it to have a cheeseburger on the front of your album? Now, this includes those first two singles, It's a Hectic World and Ride the Wild, but you also have such hits as the Wiener Schnitzel, I Like Food, My Dad Sucks, Hey Hey, and that classic cover. All right, then, 1982, they released their first full-length album called Milo Goes to College. Now, there is the mascot Milo, based off of the lead singer Milo Aukerman. And this is called Milo Goes to College because after this, Milo did go to college. And he ended up getting a PhD in biochemistry. Pretty cool. A lot of times you don't think of punk bands having a biochemist as their lead singer, but the Descendents do. This is a phenomenal classic punk record that if you can get your hands on it, you need to have it in your collection. Every song on here, some of my favorites. I love I'm Not a Loser. Catalina is great. Suburban Home. I think that's like the top stream song by them. But my favorite Descendant song is on here, Bikeage. So Milo Goes to College. Now, Milo did go to college, and then Bill Stevenson, the drummer, went on to be in Black Flag, and I guess his plan was that he wanted to do both bands at the same time, but it was too much work because around this time, Black Flag was releasing a lot of stuff. So the Descendants were kind of put on hold once Milo got out of college, and then they released in 1987, I Don't Want to Grow Up, with Milo on there as well. This is another, I love all these albums, but let me tell you some favorites on here for me. The song Descendants is great. Pervert is awesome. Theme is cool. Silly Girl is a fun song. In Love This Way and Christmas Vacation, great songs. Good Things, just a great album. And then in 1988, they released Enjoy, with some toilet paper on the front cover. What's cool is on the back, you think that those are the song titles, but they are not. They're just all different names for excrement, which is interesting. So let me tell you some of my favorite songs on this album. Now, this is what the vinyl looks like. I wanted to pull this out, so I made sure I saw all the songs that were on here. They do a cover of the Beach Boys' Wendy, which is awesome. I love 80s Girl. And the title track is great. Kids is great. Sour Grapes is awesome. Get the Time. This is a darker album. That song, the last song, it's close to 8 minutes long. It's called Days Are Blood. And I can't help but think that they were channeling Black Flag around that time. So Descendents, enjoy. We have a live album called Liveage, where they bang through all of their hits. This came out in 87. I also have a bootleg from a concert back in 87 that I guess was released in St. Louis. I actually picked this up when I visited Aaron a few years ago out in Pocatello, Idaho. And then they made an album called All, which is funny because after Milo left, they would become All. So a little confusing, but not so much if you're a fan. This is a great album too. A little bit darker of a theme on this. Coolidge is on here. Impressions is great. Iceman, Clean Sheets, Pep Talk. They talk about the whole idea of being all in the song All Logistics. This is a great album. And then to document that, they also had another live album called Hallraker. This is my favorite of the two live albums that I have. This came out in 88, I believe. Again, banging through all their hits. SST came out with a basically like a greatest hits compilation called Summary in 1991. 2 records. If you're just getting into the Descendents, this is probably a cool place to start. Summary. As I said, Milo left again, I think to pursue his PhD in biochemistry, and All formed, and All came out with a bunch of records that I love as well. All was never as popular as Descendents, no matter how hard they tried. I love All as well. But then Milo came back, and they released the album Everything Sucks. And I believe this is on Epitaph. Yes, it is. And this was just a classic return to form. Maybe a little bit better produced, even I would say faster. You have the title track. I love I'm the One. Coffee Mug is fun. When I Get Old is a great song. She Loves Me. Just a great album. And then you had the album Cool to Be You. Another kick butt record. They just keep coming out with great albums. Nothing With You is awesome. American is great. Blast Off is funny. The title track. Mass Nerder, Anchor Grill. Awesome album. And then they came out with an album called Hypercapnium Spazonate. And again, on the Epitaph label, some great songs on here. I like Feel This. On Paper is fun. Shameless Halo. I feel like around this time too, Comeback Kid is great. Beyond the Music. Their lyrics started to get a little bit more serious, which is okay. They were growing up. Can't sing about farting all the time, right? Although they do have a song, as I said, Blast Off, which is about gas. They came out with a single in 2018 for the song Who We Are. I guess this was a Record Store Day release. And this is side A is Who We Are, side B, Pavlov's Cat, and Opt In. And then their latest release is called Ninth and Walnut. And the hype sticker, JC, says, original Milo Goes to College lineup released their Lost album with 14 unreleased songs from 1977 to 1980. So you had Tony Lombardo come back on bass, Frank Navetta came back on guitar, Bill Stevenson on drums, and Milo on vocals. And they released a bunch of songs that most of them were never released. They do another version of Ride the Wild on here, and it's a hectic world, but you get some songs that maybe were going to be on another album, but never were. This is a fun album as well. This took me a couple listens to get into, but I really like it now. So Descendents, one of my favorite punk bands. I've got all their CDs pretty much, just a couple in the back here. I didn't pull those out, but maybe one of these days I will. And if you don't know the Descendents, check them out if you like punk. All right, everyone.